What's up, everybody? I'm John Middlekauff. You know what I need you to do. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. We got content for days reacting to every NFL game all the time, every single day. Subscribe, like the videos. Let's go. Couple quick things in college football. Last year, a very controversial moment in the playoffs was that some of the teams that won their conference were going to get buys. And it turned out that Boise State and Arizona State got first round buys. And people thought that was kind of crazy. It's like you're telling me that Boise State, who I have a lot of respect for the program, is better than like Ohio State and Texas. Come on. Georgia, we all know that's not true. And they announced, which we saw coming, which is the nice part about this playoffs, is that you can change at a moment's notice. And now they are going to just seed it 1 through 12, which it was clear when and listen, Arizona State almost pulled a miraculous upset against Texas, but if anything, they shouldn't have been the higher seed in the tournament, and I think that will get taken care of. I still think there are going to be some controversies with who gets in, who doesn't get in, but that's going to happen with any sort of playoff bracket where a committee is picking the team. But this was an easy decision, especially based on the information we had last year. Another topic which has come up now twice over the last 6 months is USC trying to get out of a game. And last year, when they tried to get out of the LSU game, I thought it was pretty embarrassing because the game had been set for a while. It's your classic non-conference. It was not even at SC or at LSU. It was in Vegas. Lincoln Riley tried to get out. Brian Kelly refused to pull out, and it turned out USC ended up winning the game anyway. But I hated that for USC. I just thought it was a bad look, especially for Lincoln. And it's kind of materialized once the season started. It's like, God, don't be a pussy. Well, USC clearly wants out of this Notre Dame rivalry. And here is something where I do kind of support this. USC goes, we're in the Big Ten. And depending on the year, we might be playing Oregon. We might be playing Ohio State, Michigan, Penn State. Who knows? Like, we have a set group of teams. And if the conference has a good couple years, our schedule is going to be really, really difficult. On top of having to travel really far, even though we created this, but hey, we are in the Big Ten. Meanwhile, Notre Dame is the last of a dying breed. They're this just independent team that can do whatever they want. Now, unlike last year, where, let's face it, their schedule was a joke. Their schedule was an embarrassment. This year, their schedule is not bad. I think they open up in Miami. Obviously, they play SC. They play Boise. They play Texas A&M. Like, their schedule is pretty hard. They go on the road a couple times to like Power 4 teams. Their schedule is way more difficult this year than last year. But it varies year to year because it's like, oh, they got Navy, they got Army, which I have a lot of respect for those programs, but we saw what they did to them last year. It was a bloodbath. And like going on the road to Wisconsin or to Iowa, if that's like my easy game if I'm SC, like I do kind of get it. And this is where I think we need to head. So we have to stop having these arguments. Like, I'm just so tired of reading this team wants out, this team doesn't. How about we do this? And this is where I think it's inevitably going to happen. Who knows how much longer? Can we all just be under the same umbrella? Can we all just be under the same rules and regulations? Because so many teams, like the reason Lincoln Riley wants out of the LSU game, because like, why do I need to play that game? I'm already in a real conference where if I'm like Indiana and I have an easy schedule and I win 10, 11 games, I'm going to get a playoff berth. So the college football, to get to the seeding part, I saw a lot of people yesterday, like, I bet there are still people that believe that Alabama should have got in over Indiana. Like, yeah, maybe it should have been some other team, but here's what I know. A one-loss Indiana team, just if you are in the Big Ten, but your schedule's no different than like Notre Dame, that schedule was a joke. There has to be some sort of uniformity. And right now, there just isn't any. So while I did not support USC wanting out of the LSU game, I thought that was an awful look and just a pansy way to try to crawl out of playing a real opponent. This is a historic rivalry. But given the changing landscape of college football and given that Notre Dame, like, let's face it, It makes a lot of sense for Notre Dame to join the Big Ten in terms of football. Now, in terms of money, the NBC deal, totally get it. But I understand USC going like it, it benefits you more than it benefits us. And this is the problem in the world we're in with all this consolidation and conference realignment. So don't get me wrong. I would love if Notre Dame and USC just played together or played each other forever. But like based on the rules and where we're at, like that's might not be that likely anymore. So I just I think the whole thing is kind of bullshit with some of these teams playing these random like D1 double A's. I want that to stop. And can't we just all play each other? But we're still a little far away from that. The NBA Finals are almost here, and every play could be one that changes everything. This is the NBA playoffs, where heroes rise, legacies are built, and the action never lets up. With DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NBA, you don't just watch the madness, you live it. Back your favorite team, ride with your clutch time killer. Bet on buzzer beaters, breakout performances, and game-winning threes. From player props to same-game parlays, this is how you take your fandom to the next level. Here's what I know. I love the T-Wolves. You can get them, lines are subject to change, on DraftKings right now at plus 265 to win the series. They have experience, they have been here before, and obviously they just have a really good team who's really hot right now. If you like them to win the series, I don't hate them then to win the NBA championship at plus 550. New to the game, no sweat. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app today, bet just $5, and if your bet wins, you'll score 300 in bonus bets. It's that easy. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code JOHN. That's code JOHN for new customers to get 300 in bonus bets if your bets wins and you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings. Crown is yours. Couple other. I went to Tahoe this weekend. Uh, it was awesome. Just, I mean, I say it every year. If you ever have the opportunity to go to Lake Tahoe, if you're from the Northeast, if you're from the Midwest, if you're from the South, I cannot recommend it enough. You can fly into Reno or you can fly into Sac, a little longer drive, but it's got to be one of the most beautiful places on earth. I'm pretty spoiled. I grew up probably less than 2 hours away. I had one of my best friends was his dad was from there, and he did well in life and built a pad up there. And I went there a lot growing up, and I've gone back a lot because Maria's family goes up a lot, and her brother lives in Reno now. Her mom a couple years ago bought a little townhouse right by the water, which is really cool. But just a beautiful place. I want to say two things really quick. It is remarkable what technology has done. I'm sure a lot of you listening have used this app. Like most people, most of my life, if my adult life, if you need, and I did this a lot when I was in scouting, like you need to rent a car. So you go through Avis, you go through Hertz, and it can be kind of a pain in the ass. Then they created this thing called Turo. And I remember a couple years ago using it for the first time on like a guy's trip. This might have been like 4 years ago. And I asked my buddy Brian, I'm like, where did you get this car? He's like, bro, it's just an app. It's called Turo. And they just deliver it to you at the airport. You're like, wait, you don't need to wait in line or anything? No, you just walk out and it's usually sitting there in the parking lot and they either can manually open or like I did this weekend with a Tesla, I just press a button and boom, we're off and running. And it's so easy to talk shit about technology and it drives us crazy. And I want to spend less time on my phone. I think we all aspire to do that. But the power of if you are ever on a road trip and you have not used it yet, I cannot recommend Turo enough.